Hey, it's Clover, and thank you for being part of this exciting interview that we have this morning. And it's really pertaining to our investors. So you might be saying that our environment is changing rapidly, and it is. There's no joke about that, ladies and gentlemen. But we have a special guest on us on this show again. Her name is Colleen Mitchell from Homebridge Financial. I'm going to bring her right in. But again, if you don't know who I am, I'm Clover with EXP Realty. I've been selling full-time right here in Central Florida for the last 22 years. And we're going to navigate this. We've been through boom and bust cycles before. And no matter what's happening in the market, people are still going to be buying and selling property. And we're here to help you do that and navigate this, to help you learn how to protect your money, invest your money, and also how to deal with these issues. So without further ado, here comes Colleen Mitchell from Homebridge Financial. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Cliff.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for joining me yet again in another series of our ever-changing fun market. I say that with a lot of excitement, and I'm sure you can hear I don't know, would you call it authentic excitement, or would you say that it's more sarcastic?
It's authentic, of course.
Yes, of course. Anyway, hey, so we've got an exciting show today, or information, let's just put it that way. And if you are an investor, I know a lot of you are chomping at the bit right now to try and save money. There's definitely properties that are going down in value. But Colleen, you have a special program, and it's called is it DSCR?
Right. It's called the Investor Cash Flow. Another acronym is DSCR, which stands for Debt Service Coverage Ratio. And it's for investors. So investors that want to purchase that maybe don't qualify for a fully documented investment purchase. We have a loan program that it's basically based on how much you can get in rent monthly for that property. There's no income verification. So we have a couple investors that offer this. The minimum credit score is 640. So basically they can put down anywhere from 20 to 30%. And what we look at is what the market rent is versus the PITI. So to get the best interest rate, we obviously want to see that the market rent meets 100% of the monthly mortgage. So the PITI, which principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and any HOA dues. So
yeah, sure. And that's, a lot of these people watching right now don't necessarily live in our world. So PITI, yeah, principal, interest, and taxes,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
And so go ahead. I'm sorry. Please continue.
No. Go ahead. Were you going to ask me a question?
Well, I just thought of that because it's like, so who is the right person for this type of product?
So that would be for an investor who has landlord experience, because that is one of the requirements on this product, is that you have to have landlord experience. It doesn't have to be recent. It could be 10 years back, but we want to see that you've had previous landlord experience in the past.
Okay, so let's explain that a little bit more. So, I know that we have some people right now that we're talking to that are needing to do a 1031 exchange. And for those of you that don't understand what a 1031 exchange is, regardless of what's happening in the market, guys, there's still a lot of buyers still buying property. Yes, things have slowed down tremendously. Don't get me wrong. But if you are an investor already and you have sold a property, or you had to sell a property in order to leverage in, or you'd like to leverage into something else, you're going to technically do a 1031 exchange. Can you explain that?
The 1031 exchange is basically selling a property that was an investment and moving that equity to a new investment property. And you can absolutely do a 1031 exchange on this particular property as well.
Okay, but what's the advantage of this fancy 1031 exchange? What does that mean?
Well, the 1031 exchange, if you move the equity from one property to another, you're not having to pay taxes on that money.
Does it have to be in the same state, or?
No, it does not have to be in the same state. But when you sell a property, it has to go into a special escrow account. And we have to make sure that the title company works with us on the 1031 exchange to make sure that that money never actually hits our borrower's account. It has to be transferred from that escrow account directly to the new purchase.
So a 1031 exchange, in other words, helps to defer the tax penalty of the sale of their existing property. So they're basically moving that that asset or that money tax free on a 1031 exchange, and then that property has to be an investment property, could be multiple properties, could be even a larger property, right? It doesn't, you can use
Correct.
portions of that money or all of that money. It's really however you want to do it. But one of the caveats that everybody has to understand, guys, look, if you want to do a 1031 exchange, you have to identify that prior to the closing of your property that you're selling with myself or whoever, wherever this is. You must identify the 1031 prior to, because after you've closed, it's too late. You've already signed your IRS documents saying how you're going to be doing that. Okay. So what exactly is the investor cash flow program?
So it's anywhere, depending on your credit scores, it's anywhere from 20 to 30% down. And basically we just season that money. Obviously we have to verify where those funds come from. There's no gifts allowed on this particular program. So we're basically just verifying assets, verifying that you've been a previous landlord, and it can be commercial too. If you've had commercial properties, it's not just residential landlord history that we're looking for. We just have to see that you've had a history of managing some sort of property.
And
so
what is the minimum credit score for this type of program for an investor?
It's 640. So
640.
Right. And your credit score is going to determine how much you have to put down. So like I said, we've got 3 different investors that offer this particular program. So once I get an application, I determine which investor is going to work best for that particular buyer.
So naturally rates are higher. So if you're going to make this product work for you, you're probably going to want to put more money down.
That's
because
correct.
Who determines the monthly market rent? How does that work?
Well, when the appraiser goes out there, the appraiser is going to determine what market rent is.
Okay.
So we basically work with the agent, the realtor, to find out what our estimated rent would be on that particular property. And so we at least have an idea if we're even close to 100%. Now, obviously with this higher interest rate environment, it's not meeting 100% in a lot of cases, which is then what requires us to have the buyer put more money down if the rent does not cover 100% of the PITI.
So if someone wants to get started, so for right now, let's just say that there's a person out there that's like, man, I want to sell. We're technically still at the top of the market before there's blood in the streets, guys.
Right.
So here's your opportunity to net out some of that cash, maybe do a 1031 exchange and get into a program and start getting rent or putting down enough to cover any losses or differences of the market. I mean, everybody's freaking out right now saying that, oh my gosh, rates are absolutely killing it right now. It's crazy. But we've seen 7% interest rates, 6% interest rates multiple times before. Talk to people that are, should I say, older than us. But even when I started this business back in 2001, we were in the definitely 7% range, and people were buying property then. So it's going to stabilize at some point. However, and the prices are going to go down in order to accommodate people being able to own.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, I've been doing loans for 25 years, and I mean, I've closed loans with rates in the 9s, almost 10%. But the market was a little bit different back then. The values weren't quite where they are now. So it is a little bit of a challenge in this market where rates are now. So there's nowhere really for things to go other than interest rates coming down or maybe property values going down a bit. So,
and not to mention, people, guys, hey, I'm waiting for rates to go down and I'm waiting for property values to go down. What do you say to that?
Well, if you look at the cost of rent, I mean, rent right now is so high. So basically we just need to run the numbers and see if it makes more sense for you to buy right now versus waiting, because even if you take a higher interest rate right now, most loan programs have no prepayment penalty. So when rates drop, you do have the option to go ahead and refinance at that time at a lower interest rate. I mean, obviously owning is going to be better than renting. That money for rent just goes right out the window. You can then write your interest off on your taxes, your property taxes you can write off. So there are some tax advantages to owning versus renting.
And we certainly aren't here to tell you any tax advice. We want you to talk to your accountant to make sure what's right for you. But ultimately, even if you're putting down more money, and by the way, there are plenty of sellers out there right now that are providing contributions towards investors, if we're talking about investors today. So what's the maximum contribution that an investor can take on a property?
2%.
Okay. So 2% could potentially buy down a rate, correct?
Correct. Absolutely.
Okay. So they're putting in however much, 30% down, and then the 2% contribution can help buy down that rate. If
Correct.
we know that we're in the target range of rent, we've padded that number, meaning that, we're taking into account there's going to be some fluctuation, but you still are not taking that massive hit on again, please understand, this is not tax advice, and Colleen, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you sell your property, you are going to be taxed on that money as income. So if you're going to decide, and that could be anywhere between 30% or more, or however your tax accountant has got you set up.
Right.
So if you're going to take that tax hit versus roll into a 1031 exchange, put yourself into an investor product or program where we can find you something that's cash flowing, your money's working for you, and you can still take the tax deductions. I know this is a really exciting, fun conversation for a lot of people, right? Because it's ugly out there right now, and it's scary. People are freaking out, but you still have to have a plan. And by talking to professionals, that's what we're all about. What other programs or what other things should an investor be considering by doing a DS?
Like I have some investors that own multiple investment properties. So they're utilizing this program to cash out on the other properties so that they have cash to put down on a new property, because you can use this product to do a cash out refi on existing rental properties.
Wow.
So just
okay.
keep that in mind. If, to put more money down on a new purchase, why not take advantage of the equity you have in some of your other properties?
So you don't have to completely sell out of the other asset. You could just borrow the equity that you have, take advantage of that. I mean, as long as you are ensuring you can pad the difference with the rental rates, right? I mean, you don't want to be in the black unless you are looking to be in the red as far as tax purposes, et cetera. A really helpful program out there for everybody that's thinking about investing or wanting to invest is a program called, and I have no sponsorship by these guys, I don't get any kickbacks, but it's called biggerpockets.com. And that's something that I subscribe to as a professional so that I can help run my numbers for my investors to ensure that the numbers are working. And then in coinciding with speaking with Colleen in order to make sure that the loan, everything is going to work together. So if you are considering getting involved, obviously a free consultation by myself and Colleen. We're happy to talk to you. Again, Colleen and I are not affiliated by any means financially. However, we do a lot of business together and have for many, many years. And we just want to make sure that any advice that you're given, that you're being dealt with a professional. I'm telling you.
Yeah, one thing I just wanted to mention is if you do 30% down on this program, it doesn't matter if the market rent covers the PITI. So that's kind of the magic number, is that 30%.
Right, because there's always going to be enough pad there on your numbers, regardless of what's the fluctuation. So,
exactly.
I mean,
so
we're going to see a tremendous.
Right. It's not an issue with 30% down. Your market rent does not have to cover 100%, because some investment properties may be short-term rentals and they're getting more income on a short-term rental than what an appraiser is going to put for monthly market rent. So those properties are going to be looked at a little differently. Unfortunately, with this product, we can't really look and see and predict what type of income you're going to get, let's say on an Airbnb.
Right. Yep. So, I mean, what are the terms regarding this program?
What do you mean, the terms?
Your loan terms.
As far as the 30-year, 15?
30-year fixed, 15.
Right now we do 15 to 30 year. They are looking, we do have ARM products coming out on this particular product as well. They're not out yet, but they are coming.
So let's talk to people that are trying to be learning about this. So what does an ARM consist of?
An ARM is an adjustable rate mortgage where it's fixed for a period of time before it would adjust. So the most popular is like a 5-year or 7-year fixed ARM where you can take advantage of a lower rate. And then at the end of that term, it would adjust based on the market at that time. The good thing about the ARM is it's a short-term fix with a lower interest rate, but when rates go down, you always have the option to refinance into a 30-year fixed.
Okay, so again, guys, this program, this investor cash program, is really designed to help investors, even if you've got lower credit because you're more extended, but you want to have that tax shelter of the 1031 exchange, and you want to take advantage of the DSCR program that Colleen Mitchell has. We're more than happy to provide you more information about that. Simply click down below in the comment section if you'd like to learn more. You could DM myself or Colleen Mitchell direct. If this information is helpful, albeit I know it's sort of like watching water boil to a lot of people, but it is important right now. So if you're thinking that this is helpful, can you likely give us a thumbs up regarding this information, and also share it with somebody else that maybe, grandma wants to sell out, take some money, put it into maybe a college fund, but then the rest not get hit with taxes on, and can put it into an investment property or a DSCR program that might be able to help, right? So there's so many different things that we can do in order to help you, a potential investor or seasoned investor. And again, if you're wanting to learn more about how these new programs, albeit what are the rates right now? I know as of right now, please understand they can fluctuate, but where are we at right now?
Are you talking on this particular product?
Yes.
Okay, so I would say depending on credit and down payment, they're going to be in the high 7s to the high 8s.
So high 7s, high 8s, how am I ever going to cash flow that way?
Yeah. Well, I think that still when we look at the payments, obviously, if the more you put down, the lower your payment's going to be, and you're going to be in a better position to cover that monthly rent. So again, I still think from a tax benefit, you're still going to win by utilizing this product and purchasing investment properties.
Right. And by the way, I mean, we're not making this up. If you want to read Grant Cardone's book, if you want to read all these investors, they don't care about rates. And I'm not saying that you don't need to. This is something that we're just letting you know. This is the way the game is played, guys. So regardless of what's going on with rates, yes, things are going to fluctuate, but it doesn't mean that you can't refinance later. You can't change your situation to take advantage of it. But what we don't get are other opportunities to hold these assets and still put them to work for us. And obviously, we still can try to get you better pricing, better things that we can, but we really don't know where the bottom's going to hit, guys. We don't know that. And so for everybody that's kind of hung out there right now, if you are selling something, you need to sell something, you've got to put it to work for you somewhere, somehow. Please talk to us. We're happy to give you any insight that we can to help you make an informed decision. Obviously, some people are making a lot of money in 2022, believe it or not. And you're going to need to put that money somewhere, or you're going to be taxed onto it. So clearly putting it into an investment may be an option for you. Again, we're not trying to tell you to do that, but please consider those things, because we'll work with you on making sure, A, what is priced right, and B, that working with property managers and the numbers. And obviously, please understand that we don't benefit by telling you stuff that you want to hear in order for you to fail. Colleen and I have built our businesses well over 20 plus years. And, our customers come back to us time and time again. Please review Google reviews on both of our names if you'd like to learn more about us. If you'd like to learn more about Homebridge Financial, the details are provided here. Again, if you have a comment or a question and you'd like to bring up a concern, we're happy to mention it. We're happy to answer that. Reach out to us. Let us know. And by the way, you don't have to be an investor. You don't have to be someone that wants to still buy versus owning. It is ugly out there right now. I get it. But there are ways that we can buy down your rate. There are ways that sellers can give you seller concessions. There's 101 things that we can do, guys, to still be in a position where you may still be paying less owning than you would by renting. So it's not impossible. I get it. There's a lot of negativity going on out there. And Colleen, we spent about 20 minutes going over this program. Is there anything else
Yeah.
that you'd like to discuss?
No, I mean, other than the Fed met and, interest rates on the short-term side did go up, but we did not see an increase in interest rates due to the Fed meeting. So I know a lot of people think that that has to do with mortgage rates, but it technically does not. Obviously, it has some weight on it, but we have not seen any interest rate increase since the Fed met on Wednesday.
So if you're a seller and you're thinking, man, I want to sell, I want to go to a better location, but I don't know what my options are. Chances are you have a lot of equity that you can utilize to buy down, to get a better loan, to get a better program that is not going to be, look, it's not going to be a 2% loan, flat out. We're not going to see that probably for a very long time, or even in our lifetimes ever again.
Right.
So do I have that crystal ball? I sure don't. But I mean, all intents and purposes are telling us it's not going to happen. So
no, we are seeing more people pay points to get their interest rate down.
Okay, so paying points. So if you are stuck in an area, you want to put your kids in that school zone, you want to be able to get a bigger property because you're stuck, but but you don't know what your options are. Please call, let us know, DM me or DM Colleen.
Absolutely.
The biggest thing that happens, and I just want to make sure that everybody understands, the biggest challenge that we have is that when people call us, they have already in their mind decided how things are always going to go based on what somebody else told them. And you know what? 90% of the time, it's just not true.
Right.
It's not true. So you have to talk to the doctor to find out where the break is. We got to look at x-rays. We got to figure out what is your best option. And you know what? Maybe staying where you are is a better solution. Maybe moving is a possibility. Is it going to be ugly or uglier? Yeah, probably will be. We might be able to refinance your rate, do whatever we need to do. But if there's a will, there's a way, and you certainly are in control of your location. What you're not in control is of where the foreclosures are going to be and what's going to happen around you. So you can either take control of that or you can let somebody else control that. Colleen, the last word's on you.
No, like Cliff said, if you guys have any questions or just need me to run some scenarios on this particular program or anything else, just feel free to text, call, or email me. I'm happy to help.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Again, on behalf of Colleen Mitchell from Homebridge Financial, one of the top lenders in all of Florida, in my opinion, and they are a national lender as well. And I'm going to tell you, there's a big difference before we hang up. There's a big difference on when talking to lenders and they tell you what you want to hear, guys, and then you're left high and dry. I can assure you that my confidence with Colleen throughout the over 20 years is when she says that you're qualified and you're closing, it's going to happen. Now, barring something that you've done to create that problem. But as far as her and her team, it is flawless. And I'm telling you, I cannot recommend it highly anymore. Okay. She is one of the best. Myself, Cliff Clover, EXP Realty, guys. If you want to look more, if you want to learn about whatever pricing is happening in the Central Florida area, it's cliffclover.com. We'd love to hear your comments, your questions. Please give us a thumbs up. Share this information with someone that might be able to use it. Learn about the DSCR programs. Colleen and I, albeit she likes to be the better looking one in these interviews, she said, hey, Cliff, we got to get this message out. I see you're laughing. Stop. Anyway, she said, Cliff, get this message out so that we can help people in these changing times. Watch how many realtors are leaving this business, guys, in the next short order, in the next 6 months. It's the pros that are going to be here, the professional lenders that are going to be here, that are here to weather the storm and get you through it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. We will see you on the next one. Thanks, Mitchell, Colleen Mitchell, Homebridge Financial. Oh my gosh. Anyway, that's embarrassing.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
You too. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.